It's been reported that Lewis Hamilton will have to wait another 2 months to learn the outcome of the FIA's investigation into the outcome of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which denied him a record-equaling 8th World Championship. This has been a very long, controversial, ongoing issue since its inception at the last highly anticipated Grand Prix. Stick around to find out all the insider details, along with other relevant, interesting Formula One news you don't want to miss. Firstly, Lewis Hamilton faces long wait for title finale inquiry. It has officially been confirmed that Lewis Hamilton will have to wait 2 more months until he will finally find out the outcome from the controversial results in last year's championship Grand Prix. The sporting body of Formula One said on Thursday that their judgment will not be made public until March 18th, nearly 5 weeks after Max Verstappen was controversially named champion. 2 days later, the season-opening race in Bahrain takes place. Following the FIA race director handling of a safety car restart in the last stages of the race at the Yas Marina circuit, Hamilton, who turned 37 last week, remains disillusioned with F1. Verstappen, a Red Bull driver, was able to take advantage of new tires on the penultimate lap to pass Hamilton and win his first world title. Hamilton has not yet spoken out publicly since losing to Verstappen on December 12th, and the Mercedes driver's future is said to be dependent on the FIA's conclusions. The investigation was initiated earlier this week, and Hamilton has been invited to talk with the sport's governing body regarding the deployment of the safety car, along with his fellow drivers. The FIA said in a statement released 3 days after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that the outcome of the detailed analysis will be presented to the F1 Commission in February, with final decisions announced at the World Motorsport Council in Bahrain on March 18th, more than 3 months after the 2021 season ended. Mohammed bin Sulayem, the new FIA president who took over from Jean Todt last month, has made addressing the farcical finish to last season his main priority. It's uncertain whether Massey, an Australian, will keep his job as race director. Lewis Hamilton has already stated that he plans to retire from Formula One in January 2022 as he considers his options. The Mercedes driver is under contract for another 2 seasons, but he is considering retiring from the sport permanently. Hamilton's still enraged over last year's tumultuous Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, in which Max Verstappen was crowned world champion. The British racer has gone silent on social media while he considers his options. Toto Wolff, the Mercedes team principal, has confessed that his top driver may not return for the 2022 season. Hamilton stated in 2015 that he would retire from racing when he turned 37 years old, a milestone he reached 2 weeks ago. It would make sense if he planned to retire, as he is getting to that age where many sports stars look to retire and live a more low-key lifestyle. Before making his next move, Hamilton is awaiting the outcome of an FIA investigation into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He said in an interview with Auto Motor und Sport, "It's quite deep. Lewis, I, and the rest of the squad are all disappointed. We enjoy the sport since it is straightforward. The stopwatch is always accurate. However, if we violate the fundamental concept of fairness and the stopwatch becomes irrelevant, you will begin to mistrust the sport." F1 has waited more than a decade for a rivalry like Hamilton and Verstappen to emerge, and their clash in 2021 is one of the most anticipated of all time. Failure to hold a rematch in 2022 is a nightmarish scenario that F1 cannot afford. The 2022 season will mark the first time that owners Liberty Media will make significant changes to the vehicles, with the goal of creating a more equitable battle from front to back with a slew of technical upgrades and a salary ceiling. While F1 is governed by the FIA, Liberty Media will be held responsible for the events that follow. Renewing the rivalry between Hamilton and Verstappen would be a marketing dream, practically assuring enormous interest in the season's early stages. F1 is the apex of motorsport, not just entertainment, at its core. However, Liberty Media, who opened F1 to Netflix docuseries Drive to Survive, would like for it to be both. Some argue that what happened in Abu Dhabi blurred such borders, which Hamilton will not tolerate. The speculation about Hamilton's future, according to one F1 insider, was all for show and was being used as leverage. It's all part of the drama, an insider told the publication. The truth is Lewis is going to have a super competitive car this year, and he's got 50 million reasons for staying, the rough pound value of his contract. Next, Daniel Ricciardo addresses a silent fear that all racers dread. The closer a driver gets to the pinnacle of Formula One, the more difficult it becomes to reconcile a burning passion to be world champion with the fact that it is unlikely. Only 34 drivers have ever won the world championship since it began in 1950, therefore failure to accomplish the ultimate goal is something that the great majority of drivers will face at some point. Daniel Ricciardo has arrived. The 32-year-old has 210 career starts under his belt and is nearing the end of his career rather than the beginning, and claims to have devalued the importance of an F1 championship to him. He hasn't given up hope. It's still his ultimate motivation, but he struggled with how to balance his big aspirations with the realities of what are most likely to happen. So it would appear to be advantageous for a driver who is seen to drift further away from becoming a world champion in previous years to suddenly conclude that, well, it's not worth that much anyhow. Ricciardo, on the other hand, does not not want to downplay his accomplishment. He prefers to be mature about it. He's correct in recognizing that top-level sport is cutthroat, and that winning in Formula One is highly influenced by circumstances. Ricciardo has 8 victories to his credit. Only 36 drivers have surpassed this mark. He's part of a talented team and remains the 6th most successful driver of the V6 turbo hybrid era, despite a career win rate of only 3.8%. To some extent, F1 has been, and always will be car dependent. For a long time, the issue has been that 1 or 2 teams tend to dominate a season. It's so tough to obtain a chance to win, let alone win when you do, that a driver would be insane not to look for alternative ways to value their job. Speaking about this realization, Ricciardo stated, "If I put all my life's work into becoming a world champion and I don't become a world champion, am I going to be depressed the rest of my life? I don't know. It's a bit of a risky thing to do. And I think in this sport, when there's so many other variables to it, nothing's guaranteed. And it's just not that black and white. It's unfortunate sometimes that F1 isn't solely based on talent from the driver, and the type of car you drive is definitely a large contributing factor to achieving success in the sport. However, the cars are so central to Formula One, and fans of F1 can't get enough of these insane cars, so we doubt this will change." McLaren is the most recent Formula One team to fire up their new car ahead of the 2022 season. On Thursday, the British company published a short video of its Mercedes-powered MCL36 Challenger being started up for the first time at its Woking headquarters. McLaren has confirmed that successful ignition of its 2022 car, following Mercedes, Ferrari, and Alpine. On the evening of February 11th, the MCL36, which will be driven by Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, will be unveiled in an online event. The unveiling of McLaren's car will be webcast and broadcast live on Sky Sports F1. The new McLaren F1 Challenger will then make its formal on-track debut during the first 3-day test in Barcelona, which takes place between February 23rd and 25th. The season will then begin with a second 3-day test in Bahrain on March 10th, followed by the season opening in Sakhir on March 20th. McLaren Racing CEO Zak Brown is optimistic that the team can maintain its record success as the sport comes into a new era of rules and regulations. In a recent post on McLaren's official website, he said, "We embark into the Formula One season with a clear aim to build on the foundations of our recent progress. McLaren has had its best run of form in more than a decade over the last 3 years. In the FIA Formula One Constructors' Championship in 2021, we finished 4th with 275 points, barely 48.5 points behind 3rd, and comfortably clear of 5th. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about Lewis Hamilton and how he is facing another 2 months wait until the highly anticipated outcome of the controversial results from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Additionally, we also touch on some other recent interesting Formula One news. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. What do you think will happen with the Grand Prix results regarding what went down between Hamilton and Verstappen? Let us know. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.